Hi! This is not an episode of Unknown Fantasy Origins because honestly, it's my birthday week and I don't have 4 days to put together an episode for you. Sorry. I want to though, but sorry. But I do have something for you. I have a story to share with you, a little gem. The reason I thought of this story is I went to Fredericksburg this past weekend and I took Sirius with me and we were walking around the street and everyone's like, oh my god, you have the cutest puppy! And they were petting him and talking about how he was such a good dog, and he was very good that day. And it reminded me of the day that someone was a complete shit to him. I warn you now that many curse words are going to fly out of my mouth as I say this, and I can't control it. Disclaimer, the reason I get so upset about this is if I imagined this woman saying this exact same thing to me, but Sirius was actually my son, like my child, I would be even more fucking furious. Like, that's what freaks me out. I have been at an event at the mall right next to me, and it was this Bark Happy event, which is basically like Tinder for dogs, and I was trying to win a Roomba, which I didn't, because I need something that vacuums all the time, because I'm literally covered in dog hair 24/7. So afterwards I was like, well, we're already here and it's dog friendly, so let's like walk around and window shop and things I can't buy. So we're walking around and literally everyone's just like, oh my god, cute dog, he's the cutest one. And then they come up and pet him, and even like little kids who are kind of scared of him come up and pet him and they love him. Oh, I don't want to like kill the mood, so I asked Sirius, I'm like, would you like to go have dinner with mommy? And he of course says yes, because food. And there's a place that we have been to before, and it's this like Italian restaurant, but they have a dog-friendly patio. And I'm like, well, let's go there because it was beautiful outside. Walk up, we get a table, and they actually put me in the back corner, and you know, it's like our own little area, and he actually does really good for being a corgi who is hungry all the time. He only barked a couple times the entire dinner, which is great. People are looking at him, they're like, oh, like smiling, because he's just cute. Being cute. And there was even a guy that like got up from his table and walked over and was like, oh my god, I want to pet your dog. And I was like, go ahead. He barks when he's excited, so he barked a couple times because he's like, oh my god, a person. Ah. So we get to the end of the dinner and I'm waiting on the check to come, and I knew she was trouble when she walked in. Why? First of all, she had bitch written all over her fucking face. She looked like a cruel old teacher. No offense to teachers, but you know what look you get when you're like fucking 50 and you hate your life for the past like 30 years. She's towing along her husband, who looks like Herschel from The Walking Dead, like white short hair, white beard, very quiet, pushover. So the hostess walks the couple over, and if you never worked in the restaurant business, when the hostess lays down your menu at the table, that's where they want you to fucking sit. Like, this is where we have the rotation so that every waiter and waitress gets a turn. The lady goes, we want to sit here. It's literally like one table over. The hostess is like, oh, okay. Let me go check and make sure that's okay. Well, this bitch doesn't fucking wait. She like steps up fucking shop with all her shit and like sits down, and the husband's just kind of like, okay, and sits down with her. And I'm like, I'm glad you waited to make sure that was okay. So my waitress starts walking over with the check. Sirius gets excited and starts barking a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean like 3 or 4 barks. He's excited because this is the lady that brings water and treats. So she walks over the check and she starts petting him, and he's like, ah. Well, while this is happening, I see this lady fucking like whip around and look at me. I will give her some credit. I understand why you whipped around and looked at me, because you probably thought the patio was empty because Sirius is so fucking short, and you suddenly hear a dog barking. You're like, there's a dog? I get it. Corgis are very loud, and it's very surprising to see such a loud noise come out of a very small dog. Well, the waitress is there petting him. It's like, okay, so whenever you want to pay for the check, you know, blah, blah. As I am picking up the check, Sirius lets out about 2 or 3 more barks because the waitress left. treat lady left and then stops. Right after he stopped, and I kind of look up because this lady had fucking whipped around again, and she looks at me and goes, "Quiet your dog." And I'm like, excuse me? And literally everyone on the patio like whips around and looks at her and looks at me because she's like halfway across the patio. So it's like halfway across the restaurant yelling at me. And literally everyone on the patio had been there like since I had been there because they were giving her dirty looks. So I look at her and I say, "I'm just trying to pay my check. So if you could be patient, I'll be done in a couple minutes." And she just kind of... Like, I don't know, bitch, what you expected coming out on a dog-friendly patio, but this is not it. If you wanted to have your quiet, leisurely restaurant experience, you can go the fuck inside. So I'm like signing the check and I'm like, you just motherfucker. The waitress finally comes around, is picking up my check, and I think Sirius barked like once, and I was trying to quiet him, and she kept whipping around and looking at me dirty looks like, bitch, this is none of your fucking business, because it's not like he's incessantly barking for like 5 straight minutes. He's barking like once or twice and then nothing. As I'm checking out, I'm sorry, get my check paid, trying to keep my fucking composure. And as I'm walking out the door, I realize that this is the patio, right? And so there's a door, so I have to walk along it in order to get to the rest of the mall. So that means I have to pass this bitch again. But that's okay, because as I'm walking out the door, I realize I don't fucking work here. I can do what I want. And since I'm on the outside, it's even better, right? So as I'm walking up, I'm, tugging Sirius along, and I can see her just, like, turning her head and looking at me. It was like a sheet of plastic between us. She looks at me, and I just go, and the look on her face, it was so worth it. And her husband didn't do a fucking thing. He just like quietly sat there and was like, "Oh, you were being..." And then as soon as I entered like the mall area, everyone was like, "Oh my god, he does so cute, I want to pet him." Ah! It was just like this little area around this bitch, like fucking ruining my day. Fucking kidding me? You're gonna like throw off my whole day? Like, I know it sounds like I'm overreacting, but please imagine if this lady had said the same thing to me and it was my son, like my child. This lady whipped around and was like, "Quiet your child." Like, what would you say to that? Like, if a baby was crying, would you say that? Like, the baby knows not to cry. Sometimes they just gotta cry, and dogs, sometimes they gotta bark. That is the fucking rudest thing you can do. I probably should have done more, but like that little gratification of flipping her off and saying, "Fuck you." Like, everyone on the patio was giving you dirty looks because you're being a fucking cunt. But I'm over it. It doesn't bug me anymore. Please share if you have ever experienced anything close to this. I'm not saying anything exactly like this, but anyone who is just like fucking rude out of the blue, like for no good reason, is not cool. So, like, don't fuck with me and my dog. Anyways, I hope you like this video, and if not, I will see you next week. Bye.